Hello, everybody. I'm back at last. So the problem is that my computer, I've had major computer problems, and my computer in the study here has not been working for days. It's working to some degree now. I can get Zoom and I can get a little bit, but I updated the old computer to, or the old Windows 10. I updated it, and when Microsoft updated, when I did, it killed my computer. So I tried everything, and finally switched over to Windows 11. So I lost a few things, but I've gained some others. But this is the reason you have this huge picture of me, is that the settings for this thing, I don't even know where I had them, but I've obviously gone away, which is disappointing for you and for me because I know I just don't look that good from a distance. So when it starts closing in, that's got to be a real disappointment for you. At any rate, um, uh, we are going to do this, and we are going to do this. We're going to go all the way through the book, and when we get through, we're going to have a 365-day meditation, and we may have us. I've forgotten how many there are, 640 or something day meditation. But it's taking me a while to get them. I'm doing the best I can, and I know that you will understand because you don't have a whole lot of choice except for to understand or be mad at me, which will get us nowhere. So let's go on. We are now in number 13, I think. Yeah. So we're in number 13 of the Book of Nothing. It is and here is what did I decide to call them? The episode for today. Number 13, within the scope of the dream of relativityness, we believe we see a this here and a that over there. We see them as objects because we unconsciously project them. We project a dualistic reality that does not exist. It is a trick of God, and which never did and never will exist. It's just, the reason I call it relativity-ness is that it appears to be what we would call relativity, but it's coming and going. It's just ness. It's a verb. It's a verb. It's not a noun. This is not, there's nothing static about this. Until there is self-realization and some degree of clearing, we habitually self-validate the false sense of a me as being true in just this same way. So I had a case recently, nice guy, intelligent guy as usual, and but he just couldn't stop self-validating, right? I mean, we had a session, and I was hoping for great things for him, and it just didn't happen. It just didn't work out because he kept self-validating. He would be with me, and say that he understood things, and then we would go on, and he would self-validate, and everything that he had said was now null and void. And so we ended up with an awakening session that it was successful for me because I did what I have to do, which is to present the teaching in the clearest way possible. But it wasn't successful for him because he, in his mind, didn't wake up. Now, whether awakeness woke up and then it got blocked by something, I don't, so to speak. In other words, the clarity was blocked. I don't know. I really don't know what happened. But I know what didn't happen was he didn't wake up, which I hate to hell. I really do. I just hate it. I hate it for him. But there it is. But if you come to an awakening session, please come engaged. Bring a sense of humor and bring your personality to the session. Don't sit there like a stump and expect me to do everything and magically wake you up. It just can't help. It can't happen. I can help you, but I can't do it for you. And I think this was a case of someone waiting for me to do it for them. And I hope that you won't do that if we meet. And I hope you won't do that even if we don't meet, because it gets you nowhere. So what were we just talking about here? What did we just say in this book? Within the scope of relativity is this: we see this and that and here and there, and we see them as objects. But it's important that we see it's not so important what we see. That's what we think is very important. But what really is important is where we're seeing things from and who it is that's seeing them. Because if I'm seeing this world as a Fred, I'm going to tell you it will suck just like it always did. Um, I will have endless complaints. Nothing will be good enough for a great man like myself, and I'll just tell myself all sorts of stories. I will believe those stories, and I will suffer. That's what happens is we tell ourselves stories, we believe the stories, and then we suffer because we believe the stories. And then if the suffering gets bad enough, we'll come to non-duality to try to find some magic that will help us overcome the suffering that we're experiencing because we're believing what we just made up. And what we just make up is this world and me. And it's not this world and me, it's all, you can say it any way you want. It's like call it just this world or call it just me. It's the same thing. And we're not talking about Fred, of course. We're talking about awakeness. Awakeness is actually what's cutting this video. It's just using this unit to do it because awakeness doesn't have any thumbs. Sorry about that. And so you have to be willing to question what you're seeing. You have to be willing to question what your senses are telling you. Your senses are lying to you all day long. They really are. They don't mean anything bad by it. That's the way they've been taught. And you know who taught them that? You and your parents and the rest of the world that has fed that unit information. And it is fed information that, oh, so you want me to call you Fred? I'll call you Fred. And that will really help you to get into the notion for yourself that you really are a Fred, that you're not awakeness, um, you're not an awakened being. There is no awakened being, but we call people awakened beings because we can't really tell the truth all the time about this. Oh, we just couldn't say anything at all because you can't tell the truth with words. So the idea is to use words skillfully enough to get you close enough to the truth where you can do like an electric arc and jump over the crevasse. Yes, from one side to the other, just like an electric arc will jump over space. And in the absence of doing that, you're doomed to live in the world that you've just created through your beliefs. And it's not mystical, it's not spooky, it's not anything like that. It's practical. It's practical. So don't come to the world experiencing the world that you most fear. You will get it. Come to the world expecting and offering peace. Yeah. I helped some people out today. And it will do me much more good than it did them because they're just getting a practical thing carried forward, whereas I got to, feel like an advancing human being. And there's no human being here, but that's the play, and we got to play the play as it is. So that's the way it's written. Is that I'm supposed to think I'm a human being, and I don't. But most everybody does, and so the play works for them. It doesn't work for me anymore, thank God, because I'm out. But if you don't want to continue to live in a dream where you suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer, quit telling yourself awful stories. Quit self-validating your suffering. Start asking, why do I suffer? Who is it that suffers? That's the best one I asked. I wrote a guy today and I said, he said, and it's suffering and suffering. And I wrote him back and I said, who is it that's experiencing all this suffering? Look for that and the suffering will fold up. It will just go away. I mean, it will be radically reduced or eliminated based upon the level of clarity that you reach early on. But it is possible for all that suffering you've got right now to go away in 1 minute, 1 second. It really is. It's so fast. But, it's not stable at first. Your view, your new view. And I say you, I'm talking to awakeness now. And awakeness is coming through that body and it thinks it is that body, but it's not. You're not that body. You're not that body. Go read one more non-dual book that will tell you you are not the body. And you must get that through. You must let that penetrate. You must look at yourself and saying, God Almighty, I feel just like a body, feels like I'm a body, feels like Fred is crazy. But I've heard this so many times, and it's been repeated so many times over the millennia, that either decide that you're not the body or get out of non-duality. It's harsh, but you're just going to torture yourself here if you're not willing to give up. This is the place where you come to give up. It's not the place where you come to continue to fight. Good God Almighty, come give up. It's beautiful, wonderful. Come surrender to yourself, awakeness. I love you much, and I'll see all you guys very shortly, probably tomorrow. I hope so. I'm going to try to get back on a regular basis. Good night.